Hello, folks. Welcome to the second game between Prius and Empire. I'm Llama Down Under, joined by Scant.
Team
I'm
Empire's turn
I'm
to
hopeful.
ban.
I mean, Prius did show some good stuff there. Just Empire, as we talked about, showing a lot of experience. This game, though, Invoker in the hands of Prius and the Bane, and Empire go for an Earth Spirit OD. That's a scary combo if you're an Invoker.
Dire
Yeah,
team
those are good
ban.
heroes. Invoker's already slightly disadvantaged against no D, and Earthspirit obviously famous for harassing the mid lane, ganking the mid lane. Then again, Bane is also pretty well known for harassing and controlling the mid lane. So we might see a classic
10
previous patch
seconds
2v2
remaining.
in that mid lane early on. I'm not too sure what to
5
expect,
seconds
but
remaining.
Earthspirit is Earthspirit, and whenever an Earthspirit gets picked, you have to wonder if
Reserve
it's going to be
time.
one of those games where Earthspirit makes all the plays, or if it, I don't know. Do you know anything about Empire's Earth Spirits? Is it Fennec who plays the Earth Spirit?
I am actually unsure. Now that I think about it, because I'm trying to think if I've casted them playing the
Team
Earth Spirit. It normally
Empire's
gets banned
turn to
out,
ban.
is the thing, right? Normally, Earth Spirit's the ban that is there instead of Oracle. Sometimes we see Oracle first round ban, sometimes the Chen gets through. But either way, I just think it's so easy to set up with an OD. Although that does give the enemy team time to rotate in. Maybe
10
Bane can
seconds
Nightmare someone
remaining.
up, help the Invoker get away. And if there aren't rotations, Invoker should have a
5
better time
seconds
in
remaining.
lane than the OD.
Yeah. Uh, you think the Invoker has a better
Dire
time if
team
no one has
ban.
any rotations?
Uh, depending on the build, right? But
Okay.
we've seen
I
before where like you can get up the Forge Spirits and then the OD has a bad time.
okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I think like the first couple of levels, OD's probably
Yeah,
slightly favored,
yes.
but Invoker
10
once he
seconds
gets a few
remaining.
levels in the one-on-one
It's
gets a good
it
lead.
swaps, right?
Yeah.
It's something
5
where OD should
seconds
get the early
remaining.
lost hits and then Invoker's like, "Hey, surprise, I have all these units," and OD can smack at them with the Arcane Orb, but
Reserve
one
time.
drains OD's mana and then two you don't Invoker can generally position them such that they're just harassing the Wazoo out of the OD. But
Dire
Sven ban
team ban.
out from Empire. I like this. Prius doesn't. They hadn't quite pulled out all the stops for a super traditional push lineup, but obviously that is always available with an Invoker with Alacrity.
Yep. Sven's a really strong hero. Goes well with the Alacrity. It's also Stormbolt is like a very long duration, or Storm Hammer, I think it's called these days. Long duration stun, so sets up for a Sunstrike. Also just one of the ridiculous
10
farming
seconds
heroes that like
remaining.
out of nowhere just we were talking last game
Team
about Prius like
Empire's
focusing on their
turn to
farm
pick.
while they're ganking early on, and Sven's one of those heroes that's very easy to do that, to just like stack some camps and suddenly you have lots of farm. So it's a nice ban from Empire. Prius go for the Beastmaster, so they are actually, by the looks of it, committing to a pushing plan regardless, and Empire gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah, there are certainly other heroes. You don't need the Sven. You can do it just as well with the Juggernaut. The Bane support a little bit out there, but
10
certainly one that can
seconds
help get the
remaining.
pick off before going for the push. That's something we see a lot of teams like to run.
5
Sometimes they
seconds
do the
remaining.
bat as well. For Team Empire, gonna need some AoE damage early, and with the Gyro Band out, I don't know if there's
Dire
a
team
another good
ban.
hero right now in the pool with both Sven and Gyro Band out for getting rid of those waves that are gonna be knocking on their door.
Hmm. I think there are some heroes. There's But there's also, okay, and Juggernaut comes straight out. There's also
Team
the potential for
Empire's
Empire to
turn
just
to
try and
pick.
like dominate the lane stage and get underneath Prius' skin, something that a lot of teams have done, aggressive teams especially, um, to beat a push strategy by just like stopping it from even assembling the push ever. Disrupt is pretty good at that, like early aggression. If you get the momentum, you just keep rolling with it. It's also good, obviously, against the Fiend's Grip, because long range you can just glimpse or even just chuck your ulti
10
down and
seconds
Fiend's Grip will
remaining.
stop. Also nice with the OD where you banish someone, set up
5
for Disruptor's
seconds
kinetic
remaining.
field. But I do
Enchantress.
expect Empire to go, yeah. So
Dire
they've
team
Enchantress
ban.
is probably their offlaner here, and to me it does feel like their intention is not to like pick heroes that are going to clear waves that push against them. The intention is to do really well early on in the game, and Prius will just look like Prius's draft will become quite awkward once they can't
10
push.
seconds
That said,
remaining.
they don't. I mean, it's not like the Invoker and the Juggernaut have to push. It's more the Beastmaster I'm
5
looking at, which
seconds
Mm-hmm.
remaining.
sure, it's a nice pick for vision with the Hawk. It's nice to be able to roar things. But generally speaking, the
Reserve
Beastmaster's
time.
only really coherent build is to rush Necros. And if you're rushing Necros but getting them kind of slow, then you end up feeling like, a sort of inefficiently built hero. So that's why I feel like they're still Chris kind of like set themselves up to push, and Empire's plan looks very much to be like, we'll just dominate the lanes, we'll be the ones with the early kill lead, and then you're not gonna be able to do your thing.
Yeah, there's flexibility, but Beastmaster maybe can go around helping to set up Sunstrike pickoffs, right? Beastmaster plus Bane, very potent combo for getting that. Even would be able to kill off the Enchantress, who's notoriously a pain to murder. Um, but
It's
we'll
funny though,
see.
because we talk about it like, so I expect this to be an off-lane Enchantress, because I expect Earth Spirits and Disruptor to be supports. But Juggernaut is actually one of the very best safe lane heroes against off-lane Enchantress. Juggernaut plus like one support with a good slow or disable, you can actually kill the Enchantress, you can lane against it. There's a lot of support heroes sorry, there's a lot of dual lane combos, carry support, which actually can't lane against Enchantress when she gets a few levels. They just lose to her. And Juggernaut does not at all. It's going to threaten to kill her with spin, with her support, and once Juggernaut is level 6, it's going to threaten to solo kill her. So it is an interesting choice by Empire to pick the Enchantress
10
um,
seconds remaining.
into the
Something.
Juggernauts, and
Oh, they won't do it here, but something
Team
Empire have done in the
Empire's
past is
turn
they've
to
run a
bat.
support Enchantress. This one's clearly offlane because they already have the Earth Spirit and Disruptor. So, but
yeah.
they have flexibility there, and they are comfortable running her mostly in the jungle. So obviously that's a value Enchantress has. If she has a bad time in lane, you'd rather have her contesting the Juggernaut's farm, but if you can't do that, just stick her in the jungle. She's gonna get a lot of farm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, obsessed with this, but I don't, like, what, another reason to pick Enchantress for them is, like, we said her voice often has a difficult time in the offlane, and, like, it's a hero that's not very easy to have a difficult time with in offlane. That said, it's a lot easier to have a difficult time against Juggernaut lane in the offlane. I also noticed her voice is drafting this game. Fnatic was drafting last game,
10 seconds
so
remaining.
no, I mean, normally no fear draft, so I don't know, maybe, like, our normal draft is not
5
here. Let's
seconds
just,
remaining.
everyone take a turn, see whose drafts we like.
I think
Reserve time.
very
5 seconds remaining.
very interesting. I think as you said, they're just kind of having a bit of trying things out. So since they
Team
do
Empire's
have
turn to pick.
missing their drafter. But Havos drafting, that's always an interesting one. It's actually a pretty standard draft, so it's nothing weird, but you know, I was expecting Havos to be like, I'm gonna pick myself a really good hero and the rest of you can do what you want.
Well, he did. Enchantress is a really good offlaner and usually dominates lanes, but against Bane, Lina, and Juggernaut, like, this is like, if you get Nightmared and you're on your own, you are
10
dead.
seconds
So I don't know
remaining.
if what they do is they run the Enchantress with the Earth Spirits or with the Disruptor, because
5
then you can always
seconds
wake up
remaining.
and save her and she'll still do really well. If they try and run that Enchantress on its own against
Reserve
two of
time.
those heroes, especially if it's against three of those heroes, it's just not going to do well. And the whole point in the hero is meant to be that it's from the beginning of the game, really puts pressure on the safe lane.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Havos can get work done on that offlaner. Now, Lina going to be what Prius finish up with as their support, so not looking as much like. I mean, they can still try to push with this. Normally, you'd pick something, I don't know, like the Witch Doctor, just something else that has a bit more sustain, but Lina gonna be trying to help them out there, and then Morphling coming out from Empire. Oof.
I still think that they do want to push, and I think that actually on that basis the Morphling pick is really smart from Empire, because Morphling, exactly the way the Chinese were using it, the way LGD were using it, and like everyone
Prepare for
recently
battle.
when they did use it was like, you sense the enemy team is pushing, you pick a Morphling which actually does nothing against push, and it feels counterintuitive. But what it's actually doing is it's like tormenting the enemy team, saying, well, sure, you can push, sure, I can't do that much about your push, but if you don't finish the game before I get my Lincolns and my Ethereal Blade, then you're just gonna lose.
Yeah.
And so it actually it like puts this psychological pressure on the strategy, the push strategy, or the strategy that can push, to position itself even more aggressively as like getting earlier timings, and that sometimes forces teams that are pushing to make mistakes because they have it in their head like, okay, Morphling's gonna hit its window and then we're screwed. We've got to do things now.
I also think there's the issue of Morphling. I'm expecting the Lincolns. I'm expecting the shotgun
30
Morphling
seconds to
Lincolns
battle.
into Ethereal Blade. But we've also seen some teams having success where if they are getting pushed hard by one of these lineups, they just pick themselves up a Morphling who can split push a bit more using that replicate using bots, having a lot of damage because that's what a Morphling does. And suddenly you win the game anyway. And this disruptive set looks like Mortal Kombat. That is hilarious. I'd not seen that one.
Hey, can you see what Alodance is doing?
Morphing?
He just stopped. Yeah, he was like spamming
The battle
his
begins.
like morph keys, but not actually morphing
Yeah.
at all.
Money to burn.
Pretty cool.
I didn't
Oh, they
actually
got
I
both
didn't actually realize you
bounties.
could do that.
Wow, okay, they got both bounties. That is a good start for Prius.
I mean, Empire pretty damn weak at the bounty rune in this draft. Like, if either like neither none of their heroes could fight the Juggernaut for a rune, and even if the Juggernaut's at the other rune, if the Bane catches you with the Lina, you could probably die. So I think it's actually just smart by Empire to not like overly contest. Also, very interesting. Yeah, okay. So they're starting with the Earth Spirit top, and it's gonna be along with this Enchantress, and that's gonna make sure that Enchantress doesn't just get completely owned. And she might actually do very well having the Earth Spirit with her.
It certainly relieves a lot of pressure on that lane. Now up here though, Gadrox trying to get some Ulstits in, taking a lot of harassment, and Earth Spirit, he's actually going to roll in onto the Lina. They should be able to bring her down to about half health, not expecting a kill, but that is a lot of harass early on, and going to make it harder for her to come out and trade hits with this Enchantress.
I wonder they maybe could have actually killed if Voice was willing to commit his enchant for the slow. He's wanted to save it to get a creep, and then realized that actually Prius have blocked their own camp. But it looks like he's gonna steal the Harpy now, which is actually very high damage.
They're going in again on it, and the Harpy helps get the kill. And look at the range on that thing. That chain
It's
lightning.
ridiculous.
Yeah, so suddenly we're lost hitting with Harpies. Oh, they're gonna kick another rock on through on Gadrox, and look at that. As you said, that is ridiculous. That is 140 damage and a 500 range. That is, sorry, no, it's a longer cost range than that.
Yeah, the initial cost range is longer. I think it's probably like 600-700,
Yeah.
and it's very short cooldown. It costs very little mana. The unit has a lot of mana pool. It's actually like a very obnoxious creep to be controlled early on against you. Chen players very often hope that they find this as well and then go harass the mid lane with it. And this creep itself is gonna like zone the Juggernaut off farming his own lane in the safe lane.
Yep.
But both the supports are coming and they're hoping to make a kill to chase the Enchantress off. But I think if Earth Spirit's near enough, Enchantress probably can't die.
Now, this is something we've been seeing a lot of with the buffs to the jungle. Oh my goodness, Gadrox already at half health. He's setting up for the spin. There's going to be the mango eaten on Zenigata. He is getting it all ready. There's going to be the spin onto the Nightmare. Havost running away. Does not have the healing wisp, but they can't keep up. Havost already has shoes. Always want to fly. Maybe not in the best of spots, but oh gosh, he's going to get the last hit. Can he find it? The salve comes out. The Harpy is dead. So suddenly, always want to fly in a bad spot. Eats a fairy fire. Does not have mana for the boulder roll away. Trying to buy some time. He needs about 9 seconds for it, but Light Striker Ray hits and he goes down. At the same time, Aloha Dance apparently dies to Beastmaster solo.
They want revenge, but actually the Disruptor could die as well if he gets blocked.
He's
but
gonna
yeah,
eat a
tank as
tree.
well.
He's already pretty low. The haste is going to be wearing out. Rock comes on through. That's what they were waiting for. Funnick doesn't have more mana, so they have to do this with auto attacks. Orb of Venom might make it feasible. They've got Pwn. Took a lot of work, though.
It's funny how in that top fights, like killing the Harpy was the significant thing. If that Harpy had lived a bit longer, then definitely the kill gets made. And that's why I always want to fly away so deep. But there's Nightmare on her voice now, and there's actually level 2 spin. Oh, he had a
Yeah,
creep.
he used the Dire Creep to transfer it off. I think a really nice heads-up play there. He might still be in a lot of trouble here, but doing a good job of taking advantage of it. The Sunstrike does not quite hit. The Light Striker, oh, the Flame, Dragon's Breath, Slave, Brain not working right now. And now Nature's Attendance is up, so both should be fine.
That's very sneaky of a host, actually. Like, it's easy to miss, I think, if he's got just like a dire lane creep rather than like one of the neutrals. That, hey, there's a creep there that could transfer off the Nightmare. Like, you'd definitely notice, you'd definitely expect it if there's like a big Seta Hellcaller or something, but just keeping that insurance policy. And that's literally all it's for. He's not even using it anymore. It's like AFK at the tower now.
So Bane's gonna suicide. Havost does have supports roaming in that Earth Spirit, but already having died not once in this lane, doing a good job. And as you talked about, it's not a nice lane. Oh, they're getting bottom lane. Pwn taking a lot of damage. Aloha Dance getting out with a little bit of health, but making it out okay.
And again, we gotta say, like, we look at this game, we look at the previous game, like, okay, this time Empire actually more kills early on, but what's consistent from both those games is that Empire just get a lot of farm. They're going for good drugs. Orb of Venom might just help them die for this kill.
Oh, they're going in on FN as well. Light Striker Ray does end up missing. As you said, they kill off Gadrox elsewhere in the top lane, but now FN in a lot of trouble, and the final Dragon Slave will bring him down.
Yeah, yeah, the point I'm trying to make, I mean, look at the two top CSs are the Morphling and the OD. And sure, the Juggernaut's not too far behind, but then Invoker's very far behind, only at the same level as the Enchantress and Last Hits, and it's something that it just seems like a dynamic in this matchup.
Oh, Aloha Don's
Yeah.
been going on again, morphing some strength to make sure he's all right. Working to kill off the boar, but I think unfortunately Funnick in a lot of trouble. That boar doing work. Aloha Dance, you can't be there. The axe is on cooldown. Also no mana, but he'll have it in about a few seconds. And Aloha Dance just trying to turn, stand, and fight, morphing strength the whole time. The axes get off the disruptor. They will find Pone, but he is doing a good amount of work in this lane for a Beastmaster.
Yeah, I think they probably don't mind so much trading a support for the offlaner. Oh wow, Alodon's nearly does the Sunstrike there, just barely lives. Wonder if he knew how much damage exactly it was going to deal to him. But yeah, go back to the point that it seems like independent of however the action's going, Empire's the team that's like got a better awareness of getting every last hit that they can get in between the fights, and I think that matters a lot in the early game.
Yeah, also Havos doing a good job. I think he could have played here to just secure all of the last hits, but he's also focusing a lot on harassing Gadrox, making Gadrox worry that the Earth Spirit is rotating up to kill him, which of course harms Gadrox's farm, and I think that is the core thing an offlaner needs to do. It's great if you get levels and farm, but ideally you're stopping their safe laner from farming.
Yeah, that's.
Ooh.
I mean, I would. Oh,
Havost is
Gadrox.
level 6, is out of mana, so we'll have to back on out, but almost kills Gadrox there.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Oh,
under attack.
Juggernaut's been clarity, gonna get his own level 6 soon.
Okay, and yeah, they've got the setup here. Always want to fly is around lights. Sunstrike may just be enough. 2 more auto attacks needed on Havos. The Untouchable making it difficult. Gadrox coming far forwards is working on getting mana for that ult. Doesn't have it yet, and always want to fly. Gonna get on out. Havos again living with a tiny amount of health.
I'm very surprised Gadrox didn't just come there. I mean, that was like a long duration nightmare into Sunstrike, and the Juggernaut could have just walked up to the kill and attacked once or spun, and would have been a pretty easy kill. So I must have just expected they'd make the kill without him, but I feel like you'd rather be safe than sorry in that position. The one good thing for the Juggernaut is once Omni Slash is online, he is now level 6, just needs the mana for it. If you've got the mana for spin and Omni Slash, you can actually solo kill Enchantress.
Yeah.
I guess the one difficulty is that the Enchantress has phase boots. Juggernaut does not yet have phase boots, yeah. So Enchantress might actually be able to run away from the spin, so you'd want to deal a little bit of damage and then finish with the Omni Slash.
Now, we haven't talked about it much, but in mid, this Invoker is having a really rough time. There haven't been too many rotations, so I'm a little bit surprised. He'll have like a 9, maybe 9-minute Midas, but maybe not even that.
Yeah, it's. I guess OD was just doing better as we said OD would, and we kind of expected it could turn around with the Forge Birds, but I guess that part just didn't quite click. Maybe the OD was doing too well before that point, got too far ahead. But yeah, I want to go back to what you said about offlaners, because that's an interesting point, and I do want to say that in this particular patch, the whole like your offlaner puts pressure on the enemy safe lane, it's a lot more difficult to do. It's a lot of why the heroes that are picked right now. Like Enchantress is certainly very good at doing that, but it's not uncommon in this patch for offlaners to be forced into the jungle, for example, because if people protect their safe lanes, then that's just what you have to do.
OD just gonna wander out from this gank attempt. It's very interesting. When you look at like kind of top tier offlaners and teams with offlaners who win a lot of matches, I think Ice is a good example of this. He's really good at disrupting the safe laner's farm. Actually, OD giving it a go onto this Invoker. He might just backs on out of the Fairy Fire comes out. FN did have the Sanity's Eclipse at the ready. Havos coming to back him up. If they use the Omni Slash here, FN can just get rid of it. Oh, he doesn't actually have... Never mind, I was wrong. He has no points in Astral Imprisonment. Which is not what we normally see, and instead they have picked off the Earth Spirit here. Havos now coming in to poke away at those supports. Light Strike Array gonna hit onto Havos though. There is no more mana on that Lina all of a sudden, and OD is caught in a bad spot. Omni Slash does come out, as we said, no Astral Imprisonment. OD is gonna go down. They do manage to get the kill onto the Bane, but a really odd engagement coming out from Empire. Although 5 are mid here for Pries, so this does mean that Morphling having the blast on bottom lane, and Havos still ready to go for more, looking for someone to pound those impetus shots into. Pone runs away and gets hit. What is going
it's very
on?
good Enchantress impetus usage as well. Like you notice Havos after he throws the last impetus, runs himself away as well, and that's important to like get extra damage onto the impetus. So it's not just that the Beastmaster ran. The Beastmaster ran, but maybe would have lived if the Enchantress kept chasing. That the Enchantress turns around and runs away makes that kill happen.
And she's looking for more. She's maybe getting baited up into an ice wall. Mastermind not looking ready to. Oh, he doesn't have invoke on cooldown, so he won't really be able to do too much more there.
But the point about the Morphling farm is very important. It's maybe the most important point, and it's one we need to keep coming back to. But it's one of the clearest signs of when a more experienced team is playing a less experienced team, that regardless of who's getting which kills, the more experienced team is like always getting better last hits. They like manage to go for the kills and have the fights while still getting lots of farm. And Morphling is just a lot on having the time of his life in this game.
Yeah, they rotated 5 in mid, and yes, Morphlings died once to the Beastmaster, but Pries rotated 5 in mid, got nothing done while Morphling was still farming. They got a kill on the OD, but the Enchantress gets 2 return kills, and it's a mess. It's even though we can see it looks even on kills, they are pulling ahead on Empire. They get the kill onto the Beastmaster as well after taking the tower. This is really
he
nice
tried
for
to
them.
deny the tower. He tried to deny the tower, so he got caught in the kinetic field and the static storm. And
Yep, OD goes down again, but they should be able to get the return kill onto the Bane, and now a buyback from OD. Not quite sure what's going on there with FN, but they are going on Mastermind. They will get the Invoker, and now should be an easy tower.
yeah, that's seems like a totally unnecessary buyback. I wonder if there's some.
He might have been
I guess
irritated.
it's,
He's died a few times.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you know, he's thinking my team is winning. Like, what are these fools doing, coming and killing me? Like, rah rah rah. We're still gonna win anyway. I'll just vent a bit and buy back.
Aloha Dance. Oh, he has a replicate up. He should be able to. He's trying to make distance. Oh, is Nightmare there? I don't know if they have enough damage straight out of the Nightmare. Oh, the Sunstrike he replicates away. They may have just had enough with Brain Sap if they had just used the Brain Sap first. And they lose the Bane now.
The sap might have done the trick.
Oh,
So
drops
maybe
popped
just
by
a bit
Havost,
too-
slowing down Pwn here. Gonna go for the impetus. There's a roll in, and Pwn is dead. Magnetize being used as well. This is just Havost having the game of his life. That's why he drafted it. There's gonna be a glimpse backwards. Oh no, the spin stopping that business. Earth Spirit has gone down. Havost wandering away. Omni Slash is at the ready, so Havost has to be a little bit careful here. Yay, somebody's getting Omni Slash, and it's you, Havost. He's gonna get was that Laguna Blade doing very little to Havost there, and now Gadrock's falling as well.
The Guna Blade Omni Slash still lives just with that level 4 Nature's Attendance, and yeah, you're right, this is why he picked himself Enchantress. It's a very, very, very strong offlaner. In lane, after lane, mid game, late game, like it's strong at right clicks, but it doesn't offer utility, and that's maybe the biggest weakness of the hero. But you know, I was concerned maybe he wouldn't have the lane stage we usually expect him to have because of the combination on the enemy team. But once they sent the Earth Spirit there at the top, that just like opened up the lane. And like we talk about a lot on this farm, but actually Havost's like rotations and kills are either of those things independently are winning Empire the game right now.
He's 6-0-3. I am mildly appalled that he got away with that when he got Laguna Blade and Omni Slash, but of course these wisps heal you for 100 health a second for 10 seconds. So yeah, he can tank that, and he's 6-0-3. I don't know what else to say. He clearly drafted for himself to have a good game, and he's having one.
Yeah, I mean it's a different approach. The previous game it was like we'll put the wisp with him. That didn't really work out. This time it's not only that they put a support with him, it's that his hero is like such an obnoxious.
Aloha Dance gets a solo kill in the mid, then just replicates away. He just took out their Juggernaut. And they might have lost the Disruptor. It looks like they lost the Disruptor bottom, but you can't be having their Morphling pick off your Jug.
Yeah, Morphling's not supposed to be. Morphling's supposed to be scary to you because it's farming. It's not meant to be like killing your heroes this stage of the game. So there's a lot of problems if you're Prius. Even the OD, which had like a meaningless kind of rage buyback early on in this game, is like more farm than any of the players on the dire side. So this is an uphill battle for them. In the previous game, we talked about how they like kind of in some ways were ahead, but they were never really ahead, and then they were a bit ahead, but then they kind of got outplayed. This game they're just behind. They're completely, flatly, very blatantly behind, and it's difficult for them. Their Juggernaut is nowhere near battle free. That's the way to farm back into the game. Beastmaster's not. He's got Necro 1. I guess that's something. Invoker got a very late Midas in this game. It's gonna take like a uncharacteristically good fight, and I say uncharacteristically because I actually think that the position Empire makes it quite easy for them to actually win these fights. Like how you can't kill Morphling, you can't kill Enchantress. What's the play?
There's going to be a Static Storm dropped, kind of whiffs, but they're still going for Gadrox. He does have the Omni Slash at the ready. Sunstrike coming out, going to hit on Always Want to Fly, who takes a couple Omni Slash hits, but they're not enough. Light Strike Array off the mark as well. Havo's still pounding away at people with that impetus. They finally bring out the Earth Spirit, and on the back lines of the fight, they've killed off the Disruptor. Have Empire overextended? Havo's still going in, very low on mana. Aloha Dance gets the kill. He no longer has an escape route, though, so suddenly he is deep in their base, just going for the TP out while morphing Strength. Well, he's going to be just fine. And Havost walks away.
Yeah, and I mean, this is like the best case scenario for Pries. And the whole point I was trying to make, they can't kill the Morphling on the Enchantress, so like, even when the fight goes really well for them, they still end up trading 2 for 2 because the 2 main heroes on Empire just can't die at the moment. I believe Avost even converted one of the Necros there and turned it to fight for them. So, just rubbing some salt into the wounds of Pries.
Yeah, we are seeing a huge lead coming out. They're almost 7.5k lead for Empire at 16 minutes in. And that, as you said, that's with an OD buyback. That's with Havost just kind of going around murdering people while the Morphling forms. Lincoln's is finished. Time to start working on that shotgun. It's going to be up very early for Aloha Dance unless Prius are able to do something.
Yeah, and it's either lens we didn't discuss on Fennec, but that's really nice. I mean, Glimpse already has ridiculous range at level 4, but that much more. It's, if you play Disrupt enough, you'll notice there's quite a few times where you like just slightly don't quite get into range to glimpse someone from the other side of the map.
Dire's middle tower
It's a nice little addition.
There's gonna be a... Okay, they roll... Oh, goodness. Always Want to Fly has rolled into almost all of them. Primal Roar and Light Strike Array managed to connect. The rest of Empire, not sure if they want to go in. They send in the Enchantress Replicate, but they're just gonna take the tower and back.
Definitely been a theme in this match so far. We saw both teams do it in the first game, where like you just kind of like charge in blindly, thinking that the whole enemy team won't be there, and then because they're there, you just die.
Yeah, it's not, even with that death, which gave a lot of gold over to Prius, it doesn't matter too much. The Morphling's still farming well. He also now is going to have an Aegis. Maybe Havost will take it, I'm not super sure yet. Havost actually going to build up a Yule's before finishing that Aghanim Scepter. Really interesting there. The Meatball comes in, they're trying to take advantage of that Rosh down pit. Rosh is going down. OD actually ends up picking it up. Mastermind immediately picked off here. They have a nice Static Storm. Gadroxy silenced up. He can't do anything. The huge Sanity's Eclipse. They're smacking away on that Lina as well. Mid, they could go for Rax in that lane. Pwn gonna take an Adaptive Strike, and now he's falling too. Yeah, they rotate towards mid lane. The world is Empire's oyster.
This game is like so bad for Prius. I don't know. I'm busy trying to think like, what does it take to... It's possible. I suppose it's possible. Usually when a team is this far ahead, they like might force your high ground too early, end up being sloppy about the execution. Some heroes leave, some heroes stay. You pick people off. The reason that's unlikely is OD has Aegis, Morphling and Enchantress are both unkillable. So what is like the, you know, who you're gonna catch out? Whose mistake are you gonna punish? Like, are you... It's very difficult for Prius right now. And Empire, it's honestly like a bit of a walk in the park, I think, to take these Raxus down if they want.
Yeah, they also use the Glimpse to force out the spin out of Gadrox. Now they know they can just take him out. Impetus doing almost half of his health. Zenigato's gonna fall. A Meatball does come out, but remember F and O, he does go down. That's gonna be the Aegis use. Aloha Dance just standing and fighting. He's actually morphing around a little bit, but it doesn't matter. They have the damage. Aloha Dance gets Primal Roared up. Gadrox coming in. Does have... Oh, he has the Omni Slash, but has no mana. And did he just disjoint the Laguna Blade?
Yep, he did.
That is
That's...
very painful.
Yeah, Laguna Blade has like a quarter of a second
Yeah.
delay between the animation and the... So...
But you're just not expecting it to happen to you. Aloha Dance now gonna keep poking away at this Rax. He actually maybe thinks of backing out a little bit. No, he's just healing up, morphing some Agi actually. And they do buy back on Mastermind, so Empire maybe not feeling super empowered to go for this Morphling will heal up and
There's
then
a replicate.
replicate back in.
Yeah. This is a fake back. They want to be chased, I think.
Oh gosh, FN even cancels a TP, and they've got a beautiful Static Storm coming out of 2. Zenigata is down again. They've picked off the cores, and suddenly Mastermind the only one who's left. How will they live without the Juggernaut? They won't. GG's are called.
The classic fake back. They like all turn to run, but we're completely ready to turn around, drop the Static Storm, replicate back in, just demolish the enemy. So, where the first game was... You know, there were definitely some positive signs from Prius, even though it's you could tell that Empire was a more experienced team. this game is like a wash. It's like almost a complete stomp. There isn't a whole lot to say in the favor of Prius, and I mean, I talked about whether they're trying to push or not, and whether or not Empire could like get underneath their skin before they could even mount their push. But it doesn't matter if you call them a push strat or farm strat or late game strategy. They didn't get to do anything they wanted to do this game. Everything was behind schedule, and it was all on Empire's time. And that's this is if this is the game that the series gets remembered by, we'll remember it as a stomp, I think. And Empire looks scary to go into the grand finals. Which are those tomorrow, or do you know
I
when?
don't think it's scheduled yet. I don't think it's scheduled yet because they didn't know which teams it was. It's technically it's on the like it's scheduled for tomorrow at 17 CET, but I don't know if that's exactly when it's going to happen. Just because.
Okay, so it's like if they agree.
Yeah, if they agree, that's the time. So that'll be interesting, and I'm really excited, as you said, because London Conspiracy has been blazing through other teams. I believe they've beaten both Liquid and Navi in some series. So
Yep, looking good. They're like one of the new hopeful Western European teams that doesn't come from the CI scene, whereas Empire kind of represents that CI scene. So it's kind of like a clash of Dota civilizations in a way in the grand finals of the BTS Europe Cup.
yeah. So either way, folks, that's going to be it for the BTS Europe stuff today. We'll see you next time. I'm pretty excited for that finals match. It's going to be a best of 5, and we'll see who can take it. Best of 5 also really exciting because teams get a chance to adapt. Either way, I'm Llama Down Under. I was joined by Scant, we're by those names on Twitter. Hit us up with feedback on the casting. We'll see you next time. Peace out, everyone.